During decades of authoritarian government, people of several Middle East countries raised their voice in Paris and now stood their leaders in what has been called the Arab Spring. In Egypt and Tunisia, the upspring were quick and decisive. In Libya, the protests led a short civil war that ended with the death of Muammar Gaddafi. Syria is another study. This is Bashar al-Assad, president of Syria. His father Hafez ruled for 30 years, during which he modernized the country, but at the cost of a brutal repression. Bashar came into power after his father's death in 2000, and at first he signaled he would be a different kind of leader, but the honeymoon with his people didn't last. At the first sign of dissent, Assad tightened the restrictions to free speech, insulated the economy, and left very clear that democratic look wasn't his plans. 12 years of repression has to pass before thousands of people following the example of Egyptians and Tunisians took to the streets to demand reforms. At first, Assad's stance was conciliatory, but the repression continued, which in turn multiplied protests around the country. The army answered by opening fire against the demonstrators. Hundreds died, and thousands more were arrested. Any chance of a peaceful resolution died, with the demonstrators. Small groups of armed people started to appeal almost immediately. Since the government and rebels are mirrored and what claimed the lives of more than 60,000 Syrians at first 8 months of conflict. After World War One, the French and the British established the borders of the Middle East, countries grouping many religions and ethnic groups in the same territories. One of the Muslim sect of the Alawite has been in command of Syria since the 16th, despite representing only 12 of the population under the ideology of keeping the country out of hands and extremists. The Assad heavily fought the severe those who changed them. Since the outset of the war, it was clear that it would last a long time, mainly because the different rebel groups didn't have numbers, weapons, or unified ideology. The only thing they have in common is the deep fight for Assad. As the weeks and months passed, the rebel has increased in number and weapons, but not enough to topple Assad, who is now receiving help from Iran. Also, many of rebel groups have abused, killed, and displaced civilians in the name of revolution, leaving many Syrians wondering of the cause of wars of the disease.
We'll talk about the conflict in Syria, with two groups, one in favor and the other against. The judge is Maria Alejandra. Sibeli represents the group that is a favor, and Arturo the group that is counter. At the end will be a conclusion taking into considerations what was previously discussed.
Today, we're gonna see a conflict between two different ideologies. One who is against the conflict on Syria, and another one who is in favor of the conflict on Syria. Well, I wish you both the best of luck, and this debate may begin. First, you can start.
I think war is not always a solution because it causes more disasters and more victims.
Now you can speak.
I think I agree with the realization of this war for different reasons. For example, eliminate the rivals of Israel.
That's a good point. Now you can talk. What's your opinion?
Well, another point is large states forming mini protectorates and thus generate the lasting domination of the empire. It is time for Syria as a step to take the real prize. Iran, the first gas reserve and the third in world oil.
Okay, what can you say then?
I think another thing we can to help them is to employ military means to help refugees, and because they don't have the guilt of what is happening, and so we can promote integration plan for Muslims living in the West Base on education and integration, mainly that of the young people with the help of the media and social networks.
Perfect. What can you say?
Another point is dominate Eurasia, the herd or tribal area from Syria.
One of the things we can do is suspend the sale of weapons to all countries in the region to prevent more disasters and more victims. I'm not in favor because many defenseless people die for something which they were not blamed for, something that the government did because they badly put these two ideologies together. They had to think that in the future it will cause a problem, and a very long problem, and that has made Syria disappear.
Government of Hassan Rouhani already talks about Syria without Assad. Cut the Syrian road of the Silk of China.
You can talk.
Social media in some way they have the problem because they promote in some way by videos or by the government terrorism, and it's something we should talk about with our family because they may have like a different perception of things that maybe we don't see at all.
This debate is over now. You can shake your hands in a sign of peace.
We believe that war is not always the answer, although sometimes we think it is. A peaceful agreement can always be reached.